Alors, mes amis,
Friends, we are about to embark on a very special part of this evening, a very moving part of the evening. It will be an opportunity for us to thank and to celebrate our former leader, Michael Ignatieff.
And I'd like to a personal story from when I was running in North Vancouver during the last election. And Mr. Ignatieff, the leader, decided or was gracious enough to offer to come and give us a boost during the campaign. And we organized an event that we thought was worthy of the leader, and we thought it was a wonderful experience for many reasons. One of those reasons was because of something that happened during that afternoon. And during the course of the afternoon, the room kept getting busier and busier and filling up. And in this crowd, next to her family, with her supporters around her, and with her two young girls, was a woman, a Canadian citizen, whose husband had been languishing away in a Mexican prison for more than 2 years. For 2 years, this woman had been asking the Conservative government to do something, anything, to help her husband to bring this innocent man home back to Canada. And she came to our event hoping that somebody, hopefully our leader, might reach out to her and help her, because nobody in the government would. And as Michael arrived into this crowd of literally thousands, the first thing that he did was to walk up to this woman, to listen to her, to look her in the eye, and to say to her, to make a commitment to her, that he would help to bring her husband home. And what we witnessed was an incredibly private but powerful moment between the two of them. And what Michael did in that moment was to restore in this woman hope, and to let her know that he and Liberals cared about her and her family. And it made me extremely proud, even prouder to be a Liberal when I saw how everybody in that room responded. And as we sit here today, that family is reunited in North Vancouver. So tonight, we celebrate and we say thank you to Michael Ignatieff, who has led as a journalist, as a historian, as a teacher, as a Liberal, as a Canadian, who has broken down borders and barriers, who has fended off unjustified attacks, and who did so with his head held high, and in the process made us proud to call ourselves Liberals. Ladies and gentlemen, images and words to give us a little bit about the man that we know as our former leader and a great Liberal, a great Canadian, Michael Ignatieff.
Canada is our cause. We know that this country is more than 10 provinces, 3 territories, and 5 regions. We're more than a mixture of ethnicities. We're more than the sum of our parts. From coast to coast, from ocean to ocean, small towns, big cities, Canadians from every walk of life, from every national, religious, and ethnic origin. We know we are one great people. Nous sommes un pays énorme, vaste, divisé en régions, avec des histoires différentes, avec des réalités différentes. Au milieu de tant d'autres, d'avoir maintenu la différence et la spécificité des Québécois et des Québécoises à travers les siècles, ça, c'est une force incroyable pour le Canada. Cette vision de tolérance, de vivre ensemble, de discuter de nos différences de façon paisible, c'est ça le Canada, et c'est ça qui inspire le monde. We're the only party that seems to understand what made this country work. It's not because we're the second biggest country in the world in terms of land mass. It's not because we have all that fresh water and oil and natural gas. It's because we cared about equality of opportunity for every citizen and we didn't want to leave anybody out. And that translates into education for our children and grandchildren, a pension when you retire, and medical care when you need it. The Liberal Party has a passionate, unwavering commitment to universal public health care for all Canadians. These are the things that matter most. Il faut que nos jeunes aient tous les outils nécessaires pour réussir dans le monde moderne. La clé de l'économie moderne, c'est l'investissement dans la formation et l'apprentissage. Le grand Laurier a déjà dit, un parti du centre, c'est pas un parti du statu quo, loin de là. Un parti du centre, c'est un parti de réforme, un parti qui concilie la croissance économique et la justice sociale. We're the only party that seems to have understood what the future of our economy depends on. Education. Education for every citizen. No one left behind. We have to set goals for our country, ambitious ones, to be the most democratic society in the world, to be the most open society, to be the greenest, the most innovative, the best educated, the most entrepreneurial society in the world. These are ambitious goals, but they appeal to that hope in the Canadian dream. We believe in a future that holds better days for every Canadian. That's what the Liberal Party has always stood for. That's what the Liberal Party will always stand for.
Good evening. Bonsoir. Je m'appelle Marc Chalifou.
I'm Marc Chalifou. I worked for Michael Ignatieff in 2006, 2007 and again in 2011.
Je m'appelle Pat Hirschfeld. J'étais
3 election campaigns in Etobicoke Lakeshore and on his 2 leadership campaigns.
Joining on the stage behind us are just a few of the many young people who got involved in the Liberal Party because of Michael Ignatieff. We all became involved because we were inspired by Michael's values and Michael's ideas. As a young man, Michael Ignatieff volunteered for Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and it changed his life. We volunteered for Michael Ignatieff, and it changed our lives.
I had never been involved in politics before joining Michael's first federal election campaign. I had always been impressed by his insight into foreign policy issues, but it was actually Michael's novel, scar tissue that motivated me to come out and volunteer. An author who could write with such depth and sensitivity about a family's struggle with Alzheimer's struck me as the type of insightful and compassionate person that Canadians should have at the table to represent them. I spent a lot of time campaigning with Michael. Michael, the sensitivity you demonstrated in your writing came to life on the streets of Etobicoke Lakeshore. You listened and learned, never trying to interrupt or upstage, giving people both the courtesy and the time to share their experiences and concerns. You respected everyone you encountered, even those who weren't always kind. Your ability to connect with people one-on-one was innate. You impressed all of your campaign volunteers with your ability to transform your compassion at the door into meaningful action. And you inspired us all with your courage to talk honestly and substantively about these important Canadian issues to work towards meaningful change.
En 2006,
In 2006, we crossed Canada. Michael, Susanna and myself, 10 provinces. We visited them several times. Michael,
fascinated by the people you met, listening intently as they told their stories, always seeing how their individual concerns said something about us as a country. And I remember so many stories. The mother peeling potatoes on the doorsteps of Etobicoke Lakeshore whose son had asthma. The woman in Newfoundland training to be a bulldozer operator who couldn't find childcare. Le soldat de Moncton,
a soldier from Moncton who had saved lives in the Balkans. You always listen to their stories with pride.
Michael, without speaking about Susanna. She was always there. Susanna was always there by his side every step of the way. It was really beautiful and inspiring to watch them doing this together.
Michael's focus on progressive, actionable ideas attracted many outside of the political sphere to join the Liberal team. It was Michael's entry into politics that inspired me to leave the practice of law and dedicate myself to advancing the ideas of the Liberal Party at both the federal and provincial levels. And there are so many others, some on stage, others right across the country, who were just as inspired as we were. And all of these young new recruits, in partnership with those who have been in the party for decades, will continue to work to generate the ideas that embrace liberalism and equip Canada for the changing times.
Michael était attiré par les jeunes. Il nous faisait confiance.
Michael was attracted by young people. He trusted us. He liked our ideas, our energy, our passion. This is what Michael leaves to Canadian politics and the Liberal Party. He's attracted a new generation to politics.
You didn't just let us into your political life. You also let us into your personal life. We're very proud to call you and Susanna our friends. You've had a huge influence on our lives, and for that, we'll be forever grateful. Michael made education the centerpiece of his platform. He saw firsthand how education had changed his own life and changed the lives of his students, how education gave them the tools to change Canada and to change the world. Michael imagined a country that said to all of its young citizens, if you get the grades, you get to go.
That's why it gives us such great pleasure to announce this evening the creation of the Michael Ignatieff Scholarships. These scholarships have been established by friends and colleagues of Michael in recognition of his contribution to public life. They will be open to young Canadians pursuing post-secondary education who are making a difference in their communities and embracing the principles of liberalism, equality, national unity, and public engagement. More detail. More details will be available in the coming weeks on the website ignatieffscholarship.ca.
It's with great pleasure that we announce this evening the creation of the Michael Ignatieff Scholarships. These scholarships will be available to young students in colleges, in cégeps and universities who are contributing to improving their communities and have shown commitment to the principles of liberalism, the equality of people, national unity and political activism. All details will be available very soon on our website. And now it's with a lot of emotion that we'd like to give the floor to a great Liberal, a great Canadian, a great friend,
Michael Ignatieff.
It's very moving. I've received so many gifts during my political life. They're all in my home. But the gift that really touched me, really moved me, are the scholarships for young Canadians.
What a surprise it is, these scholarships. What a great idea. Nicest present I ever got. But it's not a present for me, it's a present for you. It's a present for Canadians. It's a present for you. This is a convention that charts the future of our party. And in the days ahead, we'll be choosing resolutions. We'll be choosing new leaders in our party. We'll make important decisions that chart the future of a great national institution. Mais l'avenir est déjà.
But the future is here and now, in this room tonight. The future is here. It's here with us tonight. And these people are the future of the Liberal Party of Canada.
About political action. Going down those snowy streets in Etobicoke Lakeshore in 2005, 2006 with some of you, I thought knocking on doors was a Socratic dialogue. I would leave no argument unanswered. And these guys taught me I had to get moving. We must have done 50,000 households that campaign. I learned to love it. I learned to love the teamwork of politics. I learned to love that sense of being shivering and cold and putting your hands around a cup of Tim Hortons to get you warm and going back to do the last door before the light fell. We've all done it. We love it. It's what we live for. And I look out at you and I can't tell you, this is the happiest sight I have seen in many a long year. You look wonderful. C'est incroyable. There there's a guy out there peddling a book which has a subtitle, The Death of the Liberal Party in Canada. What is he talking about? La mort du Parti libéral.
Death of the Liberal Party of Canada. Well, what are they telling? They're telling us tales. We have the future in our hands. What a future for us. What a future for the country. What a future for Canada.
Which is thank you. Thank you to the candidates. I've been walking the halls and meeting so many of you, people who stood and fought for liberal values. I want to thank the candidates right across the country and in the room who stood with me. I want to thank the caucus, who've done such a fantastic job holding this government to account this fall. I want to thank the interim leader, Bob Rae, for getting us here tonight. Thank you, Bob. I want to thank Ian MacKay and the whole party team for making this such an incredible success. Merci. Merci. I want to thank everybody who stood with me. I want to thank every one of you. And most of all, if you would allow me, there's one person you all know, without whom I couldn't have done anything, who was with me every step of the way. This isn't even her country, and yet she made it her own. She made our cause her cause. Every step of the way, every meeting, every friend. Susanna, thank you. Susanna and I have some important news for you this morning, and this is a true story. We got this news this morning. Several years ago, Wayne Easter, who's down in the front, introduced me to a wonderful family in Prince Edward Island called the Affleck family, who run a dairy farm. And the Affleck family decided to name one of the cows after Susanna. True story. And so for many years, there's a wonderful cow in the Affleck barn called Susanna, and we would phone up the Affleck family from time to time and find out how Susanna was doing, and Susanna's doing just fine. It's a good liberal barn. And this morning, I swear this is true, Susanna got a message on her email from the Affleck family to the effect that Susanna's had a baby. Susanna's had a nice little male cow, a calf. And you know what it's going to be named? Little Iggy. Over the summer, I heard the Prime Minister, Mr. Harper, say at one point in a triumphal moment, Canada is now a conservative country. Who does he think he is? He doesn't have the right to say that kind of thing, but let's be honest. He has no more right to say this is a conservative country than we have to say it's a liberal country. There's no natural governing party in this country. There isn't a conservative country, a liberal country. There's only the country. And we have to be worthy of it in all its grandeur, in all its vastness, in all its complexity. And our cause is always and eternally Canada. And we have to speak for the Canada we love, as I try to do and as you try to do. A Canada in which we think we want to stand for green energy rather than dirty oil. A Canada which Dalton McGuinty said so well, we build schools and colleges, not jails. A Canada of generosity and compassion, the haven in a heartless world that welcomed my family, that welcomes Canadians and makes them part of our national fabric. That open Canada, that generous Canada, that welcoming Canada, that compassionate Canada, the Canada that does not shut the doors on strangers, that opens our hearts and opens our doors to strangers. A Canada that believes that we cannot have economic progress if Canadians are left behind. A Canada believes passionately that what made us strong economically was that we cared about equality, equality of opportunity for every Canadian, all hands on deck, every Canadian, with training, with dignity, with a chance to get a job. That vision in which our economic progress is dependent upon a vision of social equality. That's been the defining characteristic of being a Liberal. It was reaffirmed tonight passionately. It must be what we say to the Canadian people. An inclusive, open Canada, a curious Canada, a creative Canada, a tough Canada. A Canada that stands for compassion and tolerance in the world. Un Canada qui comprend.
A Canada that understands that we speak French here, that the federal government is there to protect the French language throughout Canada and in North America. Now we have a government that says, well, we don't care about Quebec. We have our majority, so we don't need them. A Liberal would never think like that. The future of this party resides in Quebec. Canada's future resides in Quebec also.
People said, what's it like? How do you feel being out of politics? You can tell what the answer was. You're never out of politics. Once you join this party, once you commit, as I did when I was 18, you're never out of politics. As a teacher, as a writer, as a citizen, as a voter, I'll be with you. I'll stand with you. When you choose a leader, whoever he or she may be, I give you this pleasure right now. I will stand 100% behind that leader, and I'll keep my mouth shut too. All through my political life, I've imagined, as I've talked to any audience, I've imagined that there's someone out there just the way I was when I was 17, when I heard Lester P. Pearson for the first time, when I stood in the crowd and heard Pierre Elliott Trudeau talk. And I've always imagined that there is someone in the crowd who looks at me and thinks, I could do what he does, and I could do it better. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. I don't know whether you're a young man or a young woman. But I know you're out there, and I know you're listening. I didn't get there. God knows I tried. I didn't leave anything on the table. I gave it everything I had, but I didn't get there. But I'm telling you, you will get there. You will get there. You will get there. Never give up. Never give in. Never settle. Never let them define you. Never let them take you prisoner. Fight for what you believe. Et quand vous arrivez,
when you get there, everything I've endeavored to do will be worthwhile.
You will. And when you do, everything I tried to do will be worthwhile. Thank you.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Liberal Live.
To the broadcast zone of Liberal Live. Michael, I wanted to thank you personally for the change you made in my life. Without your vision and sense of risk for Canada 150, I don't think Liberal Live would exist. Mesdames et messieurs, let's have another round of applause for our former leader, Michael Ignatieff.
Delegates, if you're wondering where we are, well, we're in the actual room where you are.
7:45 this morning, been broadcasting live, and we will do so for the next day and a half. So for the first time in the history of Canada, a political party, our political party, has decided to broadcast all of our proceedings online from gavel to gavel. What does that mean? That means we've been here, that means we've been in other rooms, it means we've had a fantastic team of online reporters who have been in the breakout sessions and who have been in and around Ottawa. So what I'd like to do right now is share with you one of our clips that we've taken in the recent days. Ce métrage, ce reportage, nous rappelle...
Now this report reminds us of our fundamental liberal values.
Okay, delegates, if they know how to do as Liberals, we know how to roll with the punches. Let's thank our technical team, who I know will give us audio back. Let's give them a round of applause. Give them some encouragement. Look, folks, if everything were perfect, we wouldn't have any work to do as Liberals. That's why we're all here. So I've moved positions, as you can see, and I'm here in front of the online community. Why is this important? Well, the signal that we've sent to Canadians from coast to coast to coast and around the world is to tune into this convention. This isn't just about us here as delegates. This is about Canadians convening with us as we talk about our resolutions, as we get ready to vote on important party decisions. And this team, the able team that you see here, is taking in all of these comments, all of the Twitter feeds, all of the comments and the questions that you see us bringing from the online community into our discussions. So if you see these computers and the various different brands that we have here, ce sont des gens qui nous aident à transmettre toutes les questions des Canadiens de travers le pays pour nos discussions. Et je vais juste peut-être demander à Christine, qui est notre chef sur la communauté en ligne, what are some of the highlights that we've had from today on the online desk? And I noticed this screen behind you is showing you the Twitter feed.
Yes, we're very interactive with all of our community online. We've got people from coast to coast participating. Of course, some people couldn't make it to Ottawa. We've all seen the weather today. But we're trying to engage and make sure that everyone is part of the process. Alors, durant les Reddit Talks cet après-midi, qui misaient beaucoup sur les médias sociaux, on a eu la chance de transmettre finalement des questions de la communauté en ligne. C'était une expérience extrêmement positive et on a hâte de faire ça dans les prochains jours.
Merci, Christine Schoen. Chers délégués, delegates, can you please give a round of applause for all these folks and their hard work, bringing the online community to life for our convention. We have had the opportunity over the last day, since we started this morning at 7:45, to talk with a number of interesting individuals who are part of our convention. We had a fantastic conversation with John Turner. How many of you have heard John Turner speak at this convention so far? The man is sharp, to the point. He doesn't pull any punches, and if you have some time, I encourage you to go to liberal.ca and have a look at what Mr. Turner and I had the chance to talk about. I also had the opportunity in room 214 during one of our breakout sessions to have a long conversation with former Prime Minister Paul Martin. How many of you have heard Paul today at the convention? It's another clip that I encourage you to go and listen to, because those of you may not know this, but when Paul was finance minister, he was spending a lot of time trying to get the G20. He got the G20 of leaders together, and he was successful in getting the architecture together for the G20 that, when the fiscal crisis hit in 2008, was able to take place. So please look at liberal.ca. You're going to see fantastic clips from the convention, from Ottawa, all to make your conference experience more interesting. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez venir à liberal.ca. Have a great convention. We'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we turn to the exciting debate and discussion among our candidates for the presidency of the party, I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank the two people that we heard and honored tonight. I have had the good luck to know and to work with both of them. If I may start with my good friend, our former leader, who we honored appropriately tonight and who thanked us. I think I can say that I've known Michael longer than I think anybody else in this room. Our friendship goes back over 50 years, and it's a friendship that even has gone back into the generations. I can tell you that Michael said one thing tonight with which I very strongly disagreed. He said he didn't get there. Michael, never think that, because you did get there. To say you didn't win an election in some ways is like saying you didn't win a crapshoot at Las Vegas. Some you win and some you lose. But you, my friend, for all of us, and certainly for me and Arlene, you and Susanna will always be among the great winners. Premier, as you know, I'm profoundly jealous of you. It's a relationship I really haven't quite completely worked out. Not only did you get a second term, you got a third term. But one of the things that I'm most proud of is that you have, and you stated it here tonight, a wonderful speech that you gave us tonight, so much inspiration and so much to think about. But I think you showed, not simply by what you've said, but by what you've done, the nature of the convictions that you have. And I had the opportunity to know and work with your dad. I had a great affection for him. We had many arguments, sometimes late into the night, and they were always full of fun and interesting and great. Vous êtes un homme extraordinaire.
You're an extraordinary man. And we're just starting to understand to what extent, really, you don't only have courage and the street smarts, but also the deep political conviction that I respect. You're someone who has served very well our province, Ontario. You've also shown dedication. You've served our province and our country.
We all salute you. We salute you as a great leader, and we salute you as a friend and a colleague. And I have a sense that some of the battles that you will be fighting with neoconservatives on health care and on the costs of that agenda for the provinces of this country, and in what is happening to Canada in the face of this neoconservative wave that we're currently experiencing, however briefly. I have a sense that we will be colleagues and comrades in arms as we fight in Ottawa, at Queen's Park, and in the provincial capitals across the country. Thank you so much, sir, for your contribution, for your dedication tonight. Once again, a thank you to the co-chairs, to all those who've worked so hard and so effectively tonight to get us to where we are. And it is so wonderful to see this crowd here, and we look forward to a great discussion tonight and to a successful convention over the next couple of days. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.